ያላችሁ ሰዎች አሁን ባልኩት መሰረት ኢንተርናሽናል ትሬድ ሴንተር ከሚያመጣቸው ኢንቨስተሮች ጋር የመገናኘት እድል ይኖራቸዋል የሚል ጥሪ ነው ያደረገው። ስለዚህ ይሄንን ጥሪ የተቀበሉ ተወዳዳሪዎች ናቸው ያሉን ማለት ነው። ነገር ግን ሁሉም ተወዳዳሪዎች በኮምፒውተር ፕሮግራሚንግ፣ በኮምፒውተር ሳይንስ ወይም በአጠቃላይ አይቲ ከምንለው ፊልድ ላይ መጠነኛ የሆነ እንትን አላቸው፣ ባክግራውንድ አላቸው። ይሄ ባክግራውንድ አላቸው።
ስለዚህ ሰልጣኞቹ ተማሪዎች፣ ሰራተኞች እነማን ናቸው?
ሰልጣኞቹ ከ159ኙ እስካሁን ባለን ዳታ 150ዎቹ አካባቢዎች ተማሪዎች ናቸው። የተቀሩት 9ኙ ግራጁዌት አድርገው ስራ ያልጀመሩና አንድ ሁለት የሚሆኑ ደግሞ ስራ የጀመሩ ሰልጣኞች አሉ። ስለዚህ ማጆሪቲዎቹ ተማሪዎች፣ አብዛኛዎቹ አብላጫዎቹ ሰልጣኞች ተማሪዎች ናቸው።
ስልጠናው ምን አይነት ጠቀሜታ አለው? አላማውስ ምንድነው የሚለው እናቀርብልና
ስልጠናው ምን አይነት ጠቀሜታ አለው፣ አላማው ምንድነው የሚለውን ከኔ የበለጠ ባለሙያው አቶ እስክንድር ማብራራት ስለሚችሉ እሳቸው ደግሞ ቴክኒካል ነገሮችን እንዲያብራሩ ብትጋብዙልኝ ደስ ይለኛል።
እናመሰግናለን።
እሺ፣ አመሰግናለሁ።
እንትኗን ቃል እሺ፣ ስምህን አስተዋውቅልን እና የስራ ድርሻ።
ኦኬ፣ እስክንድር ብስራት እባላለሁ። እዚሁ ነው ከአዲስ አበባ ዩኒቨርስቲ ነው ተምሬ የወጣሁት። አይኮግላብስ በኢንተርኔት ፉል ታይም ሰርች አውቃለሁ። ማስተርሴን ቻይና ቅድም ባለው ዲፕ ለርኒንግ እና ኮምፒውተር ቪዥን ሰርቻለሁ። እሱ አሁን አዲስ ታይም ፍሪላንሲንግ ስራዎች እሰራለሁ። በኮንትራት ሶፍትዌር ሪሌትድ ኮምፒውተር ቪዥን ሪሌትድ ስራዎች እሰራለሁ። ዛሬ እዚህ የተገኘሁበት አላማ ትሬኒንግ የ6 ዊክ ትሬኒንግ ስላለ ቴክኒካል ትሬኒንግ፣ እነሱን ትሬኒንጎች እኔና የስራ ባልደረቦች አጋሮች አንድ ላይ ሆነን ትሬኒንጉን እንሰጣለን ማለት ነው።
በበጎ ፈቃደኝነት ስልጠና እየሰጣችሁ ያላችሁት?
ፔመንት አለው። ፔመንቱ ትንሽ ቢሆንም ግን ከኛ ከራሳችን እኛው ከራሱ ከዚህ ስለወጣን ኮንትሪቢዩት ማድረግ የምፈልጋቸው የራሴ ተነሳሽነት አለ። ለምሳሌ ምክንያቱም የዛሬ 6-7 ዓመት ተማሪ የነበርኩኝ እዚህ እንደዚህ ቢሆን አንድ ሰው እንደዚህ ቢነግረኝ እላለሁ። ምክንያቱም ስራ ደረጃ ላይ ደርሼ ስራ ስሰራ ትምህርት ላይ እንደዚህ መሆን ነበረበት የምላቸው ነገሮች አሉ። ውጪም እንደዚህ ኢንተርናሽናል ስቴጅ ላይ ስሰራ ልክ እንደዛው ነበር። ስለዚህ እነዛን ነገሮች መጥቼ ለድሮ ራሴ ልሰጥ እላለሁ አንዳንድ ጊዜ። ስለዚህ እንደዚህ አይነት ፐርሰናል ኢንሴንቲቮች አሉ። ስልጠና
መሰጠቱ በተለይ አብዛኞቹ ተማሪዎች ናቸው ብላችኋል እና ስልጠና መሰጠቱ ለተማሪዎቹ ምን አይነት ጠቀሜታ አለው ብላችሁ ታስባላችሁ?
ስልጠናው ቤዚክሊ ትምህርት ቤት ውስጥ የሚወስዱት ኮርስ ነው፣ ግን እኛ በአጭር በ6 ሳምንት አድርገው ነው። ትምህርት ቤት ውስጥ ገብተው ኮምፒውተር ሳይንስ ውስጥ 4 ዓመት የሚፈጅባቸውን ነገሮች ከቤዚክ ኦፕሬቲንግ ሲስተም ጀምሮ ዌብሳይት መስራት፣ አፕሊኬሽን መስራት ነገር ነው ከቨር የምናደርገው። ትምህርት ቤት ውስጥ ሲገቡ ቃስ ብለው በ4 ዓመት ውስጥ ሊያልፉበት ይችላሉ። ግን የትምህርት ቤት አካሄድ ቦተም አፕ ነገር ነው። ትማራለህ፣ ግን ቃስ ብለህ ነው ስራ ላይ ስትደርስ የምታውቀው። የእኛ አፕሮች ግን ቶፕ ዳውን ነው። ዊች ሚንስ አላማችን መጀመሪያ የሆነ ማርኬተብል ሶፍትዌር መስራት ነው። ስለዚህ ለዛ እነዚህ ማወቅ አለብን። ለዚህ ከጎሉ እንጀምርና ማወቅ ያለብንን እናጠናለን ማለት ነው። ኦብቪየስሊ ሪፕሌስመንት አይሆንም ለተማሪዎች ያሉበትን የትምህርት ገበታ ሪፕሌስ አያደርግም። ግን ቶሎ ሃይ ኦቨርቪው ይሰጣቸውና ወዲያውኑ ፕሮዳክቲቭ የሆነ ወይም ፕሮዳክት ያለው ፊዚብል የሆነ ሶፍትዌር ሊሰሩ ማለት ነው።
መቼ ጀምሮ ነው ስልጠና የሚሰጠው? እስከ መቼ ያበቃል?
ስልጠናው የ6 ሳምንት ስልጠና ነው የሚሆነው። ከሚመጣው 1 ሳምንት በኋላ ይጀመራል። ቀን ፊክስ ተደርጓል። ከዛ ለ6 ሳምንት ራን ያደርጋል። ቅዳሜና እሁድ ዊኬንድ ላይ ነው የምንሰጠው። ቅዳሜና እሁድ የሆነ ቶፒክ አለ። ያንን ቶፒክ እንጨርሳለን። ቀኑ ሙሉ ነው። ቅዳሜ ቀኑ ሙሉ፣ እሁድ ቀኑ ሙሉ። ስልጠናውን በምንሰጥበት ጊዜ ኤክሰርሳይዝ ቤዝ ነው። ስላይድ የተወሰነ 10-15 ደቂቃ ካሳየን በኋላ የቀሩት 2 ሰዓት ፕራክቲካሊ ኢንተርኔት አለ። ላፕቶፓቸውን ይዘው ሶፍትዌር አድርገው እንደዚህ አድርጉ እያልን አንድ ሶን የሆነ ፕሮግራም ነው የሚሆነው። ሶ ኢች ዊክ ለ6 ዊክ እንደዚህ ይሆንና መጨረሻኛው 7ኛው ዊክ ላይ ተማሪዎች ኦቨር 6 ዊክስ የተማሩትን ነገሮች ሰብሰብ ያደርጉና አንድ አገጣጥመው የሆነ ፕሮዳክት የራሳቸውን ፕሮጀክት ዲሞ ያደርጋሉ። ሀካቶን ይኖራል ማለት ነው።
ተጨማሪ ጥያቄ ያላችሁ? እኔ በኩል ጨርሻለሁ። ከልብ አመሰግናለሁ። So for introduce.
Thank you very much. My name is John Tavarasa.
Okay.
I work for an organization called the International Trade Center, or ITC. ITC is a joint development agency of the World Trade Organization and the World Trade Organization. Sorry, the World Trade Organization and the United Nations. And we have a mandate of supporting small and medium companies or SMEs across emerging markets to be able to internationalize, so export beyond their boundaries and participate in trade that is cheap, trade that is inclusive of women through employment, and also help to build their capacities as well as create business and market linkages for them.
Are there any specific or issues categories you would like to work on in this?
Right, yeah. So we are here to launch the Netherlands Trust Fund 5 project, or NTF 5, which in partnership with the Dutch Ministry of Foreign Affairs, who are actually the donors of the project. The objective of this project is to look at 2 sectors. One is the agribusiness sector, and then the other is the technology sector. The objective is how do we create a link between these 2 sectors. So that means starting with the SMEs, how can we build their capacity to be able to support agribusiness value chains, but also how do we create the business linkages, how do we introduce them to investors that are going to give them the right capital to start to scale their businesses. Beyond that, how can we connect them to markets? In the past with NTF4, we've been participating in the biggest tech conferences in the world, from Disrupt Berlin in Germany to Slash in Finland, and now this is the same energy that we're bringing with NTF5. We're going to introduce businesses to investors, introduce them to potential partners, introduce them to new markets, but also help them build resilient business models that are going to help them survive the COVID-19 pandemic. However, we're also going to work with tech hubs, accelerators and incubators, local associations like the ICT Association of Ethiopia, the Ethiopian Agricultural Transformation Agency, to further encourage young innovators to innovate around the traditional agribusiness sector. Again, the mission is the same. How do we digitalize agribusinesses and make sure that more jobs are created for the youth, more jobs are created for women, but also in the end, this is something that could contribute to the country's GDP and help small businesses generate more revenues, help them discover new markets and partners as well. And now with marketable software development 101 is the partnership that we're doing with IMEKERS. We are here at Addis Ababa University to talk. First of all, we've talked with students that most of them are doing computer science degrees, software engineering, but we're trying to encourage them to think beyond technology. Technology is just an enabler. It is not an end in itself. So we're trying to see how do you create business out of websites? How do you create business out of applications? Right? So that is the objective. How do we help them build these really strong business models and later on introduce them to a world of buyers and partners.
So another question.
Do you have any expectations you might face? I mean, challenges you might face in the process of teaching and learning process?
Yes, I mean.
Along with that, tell us about your previous experiences. If you had, is this your first time in Africa, or do you have any previous experience? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So in terms of expectations of the Ethiopian ecosystem, first of all, we've been speaking with the partners that I mentioned, ICT, ATA. We're going to meet with the Ministry of Innovation and Technology. the idea is to first of all understand what is the problem in Ethiopia. Is it the skills? Is it the fact that there is no investment coming in? How do we make sure that Ethiopia reaches the levels of Nigeria, South Africa, Egypt, Kenya when it comes to a strong, investable tech ecosystem? Obviously, we know that Ethiopia, just like any other country, the internet is a big issue, and internet is such a good driver for business, especially this day and era of COVID-19. We know that the prices of internet bundles are extremely high, the low bandwidth, and even the speed is very, very slow. So we know that these are some of the challenges that we're going to come across. How do we make sure that businesses remain online and transact online cheaply, which is very, very important. If you're going to have an online presence, you need to have internet all the time. But beyond internet, you need to know how do I market myself online. So certain skills like digital marketing, these are gaps that we've already realized in Ethiopia and all the other countries where we've been working. In Senegal, in Uganda, in Benin, in Cote d'Ivoire, in Ivory Coast, and even in Zambia. So these are not just problems that Ethiopian entrepreneurs are facing. These are problems that the entire Africa is facing. Of course, we know that the ecosystem, the startup ecosystem here is extremely early stage. Most of the businesses are like at ideation phase. That's a very difficult stage to get investment. That's a phase where we need to focus and train them as much as possible. Help them come up with the strong business models that I mentioned. And then maybe if they get to post-revenue level where they're generating revenues and they have people using their platforms, we can now introduce them to investors who are going to put money in them, or introduce them to partners who are going to help them scale beyond Ethiopia. So I think my expectations, it's a really early stage ecosystem, just like any other African ecosystem, but with a lot of potential. More than 100 million people in Ethiopia means a very decent size of market potential for young entrepreneurs to tap into. Of course, I also expect a lot of collaboration from local partners, tech hubs, incubators, accelerators, local association. I would like to emphasize the component of sustainable support. This is a project that is going to end after 4 years. It's a $1.5 million project that's going to come to the end in 4 years. And we don't want to go away and say, oh, we did ABC in Ethiopia. We want to have local partners to carry on the work that we have already done, to continue supporting young entrepreneurs who are in turn going to create jobs. They're going to contribute to revenue generation of their businesses and maybe even help digitize the more traditional MSMEs in the country.
Thank you.
Finally, if there is any message you'd like to convey, or you want to thank any government officials or even the trainees?
So first of all, I'm very grateful to the warm reception that we've had in Ethiopia. Yesterday I met with the ICTET. This morning I met with the Agriculture Transformation Agency, which is looking to create innovations in the agriculture value chains. I have met with a few business process outsourcing companies like Africom that are doing amazing things, from IT sourcing to developing software for companies, and they're doing it at a really, really impressive level. So the idea is, how do we create more Africoms, or how do we support businesses like Africom to even grow more and employ more Ethiopians and have them join in the ecosystem. But also, I'm very grateful to the good job that iMakers are doing. They were able to convert a good number of University of Addis Ababa students here who had very interesting questions about the project, about how to join the project. But also, we talked everything, technology, we talked business. It was very, very interesting. And I'm also very thankful to obviously the students who are here, the media, to pick up the stories, to encourage us, reach everybody in Ethiopia that has a burning idea, that wants to scale, that wants to go international, that wants to raise funding for their businesses, that wants to explore new markets, that wants to partner with other businesses across Africa. The goal is is to expand beyond Ethiopia. This is something that we've done in Uganda. We've managed to create a lot of jobs in the IT sector. We've managed to get investment for IT companies, SMEs and startups, and they've also managed to generate partnership deals beyond Uganda. So it's very doable. Uganda is a much smaller country than Ethiopia. Ethiopia is more than 100. Uganda is about 40 million people. So these things are doable. We've seen them work in Senegal, in Bangladesh. We've seen this happen in the Gambia, and recently through our Fast Track Tech spin-off project of NTF4, we've seen these things happen. And so all the best to the students that we had today for the course that they're going to take on. Hopefully they make meaningful businesses out of whatever is learned.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Okay.
Thank you very much.